Hey, Captain Chaos. Mr. Garage Cat, are you coming to help again? Hey, George? Mr. Boy? The cat that I never had. He just moved in by himself. Anyway, this is George, and this is me, Grizz, or Rian, if you want. Today, short episode. It's one of those days where even just making one small step forward will be a step forward. I have struggled to get going today for some reason, but there's a few jobs that can be done. I had mate Nick around yesterday and we looked at a few small jobs that can be done that'll all progress the game. And one of them is probably not having a ladder in the back of the shot, but that's okay. Looking at this little Canta, there are lots of little jobs, and I'll point them out to you right now. When you look at, for instance, the choke that has always been sticking out like a willy, I guess, bing bong, and yesterday cut down a wheel nut, cut it or ground it flat at the back, but the actual thread, if you look at the thread on this, it's a fine thread. I think it's a 1.25 or something pitch. I'm not clever with these things, but anyway, so a used wheel nut, cut the back off it. That should screw on between the firewall on this side and obviously the inside of the dash. And then we'll see this actually going back in there where it should be. The other job will be to start looking at making up a plate for the hood release. I managed to break that in the middle of winter when it was really cold, tugging on it too hard and not realizing that a gentle pull still released the hood. Wiring coming out the dash, this would have been a radio or a radio tape deck or something. I need to just make sure that, I'm assuming that those are the live and earth wires, and I'm not going to refit a radio into this little car. There's no need, in my opinion. But what I will do is add a USB port so that one can charge mobile phones, etc. And then maybe remove these little straps which have been bugging me from day one. They're basically the door retainers. I'll replace them with bits of webbing from seat belts. So seatbelt webbing, I think, will be more durable than the rubber that this is or was at some point. A couple of speakers, they've always dangled down the bottom here. I will remove them as well. Either just cut the wires and push the wires back, but if I can figure out how to unthread them and maybe even go from here where the radio is and unthread everything, then keep more of that retained. This, obviously, this car runs a cable up here that runs to the carburetor. So when you pull, you will accelerate. When you push, you will brake. This shaft runs down the bottom. That's actually your brake pedal. And I also found that the brake light switch is broken, so that will need replacing at some point, but that's a small job, I think. And then figure out what the rest of this is about. I'm not sure where these wires are supposed to go, but they are all here, and I guess the more wiring you figure out, the better. So yeah, those are the jobs for today. Replace these bits, clean out, and then we'll take it from there. Other than that, welcome to the show. We will see what gets done. Please do like, subscribe, and share if you should want to share with anyone. And let's start off by disassembling the carb, taking off the air cleaner, because you have to take the air cleaner off in order to get to the actual cable that comes through here, which is the choke, and that is mounted down there, down this side somewhere, and then I can thread through the nut that will hold this together and stop it from dangling around inside the cab. So there we go, more in a bit. Right, let's see if we can get little air filter off. 10mm, easy enough. That's that famous 10mm. Get that out the way so we can get to the cable. I can see some mouse poop on the top of this little engine block as well, just below the alternator. Quite interesting. Let's see what we can see once this comes off. It's quite clean actually. Now the trick will be to brilliant. This has just come off by itself quite readily. It needs a clean, that's for sure. Lots of crap falling in from here. Right, so that's part one. I'll put this little guy back on there so we don't lose him. Leave the 10mm spanner there, the one everyone loses. Let's see if we can get in here. Get this cable, push that back where it came from. We have small Phillips. Get some tape. In fact, paper towel will probably do the job just as easily. Stop crap from falling in here. Don't know if that's clever or not, but it's done. This little breather pipe, leave that alone. Or am I going to get it off? There we go. Move that out the way. So much muck. Obviously the idea is to get this fitted. One wheel nut bodge. This is going to be interesting. Right, time to cross fingers. One choke button. Let's see if this threads on. Ooh. Let's try it the other way around in case I screwed with the thread when I was cleaning and cutting it. So that is not screwing on. Looks like that was a false start then, but that's okay. There has to be something which fits, but it's not going to be this today. So back to my bucket of bolts and see if I can find something worth having. In that pile, slightly different thread possibly. We'll see where this goes. It's always fun out here. Let's try that one more time. No luck. Right. So we're on to plan B. Plan B being trying to find something else that's threaded that'll be appropriate and that'll actually fit in there. Because this doesn't seem to want to seat itself. This is just not the right item. Bugger. But that's right. Back to the drawing board. Try plan B, C, D and E. So, back in a bit.
Job fucking taking pictures.
Come to Uncle Bob's.
Yeah, that fits that, doesn't it?
He's given me a small little nut.
Want a bit of
help,
works. Bit of oil on it.
And I'll help it. But yes, all I'm going to say is this is a treasure trove. This is an Aladdin's cave.
Try it now, it's got some oil around it. Where's your spanner?
That side.
Come on, you fuck it up. Put that fucking phone down in your pocket. Fucking phones.
You'd be screwed with that, our phones, us modern people.
I think you'll all be going fucking depressed if you didn't have a phone. What happened to the original nut? You lost it, didn't you?
No.
Yes.
Bought this thing without half of its parts, as you know. This is the clown car. Don't
That
forget.
ain't taking you much effort to do that, is
I'm
it?
not doing more.
Get up.
Bob. Enough.
Get up.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's all right. That fits
That's
that.
enough.
That
We'll be
fits
on
that.
it. Yeah.
Good enough.
Come on. Now you've screwed it up completely.
What you on about? Lights out. Shut the door. Fuck off. Shut down.
We're coming. Right, so we're competing with the lawnmower next door, but that's not a problem. We just need to talk a bit louder, I guess, at the camera. So having come back from Uncle Bob's, I scored a very thin little nut that will go on there with a bit of encouragement. A couple of spacers, washers to stick in there behind the firewall. Reassemble, and then that should be this job done. In the meantime, please try and ignore the lawnmower in the background. The neighbour's grass is a bit long. So, carrying on where we left off. Of course, one really needs a spare set of hands at this point, because you need to hold the knob on the inside, hold it down, and then also try and tighten this on this side. So let's see what happens. Maybe I'll be swearing, maybe I'll get lucky and get it done. That's taken, which is a good thing, I think. Maybe it hasn't taken. Damn. Let's see. It's not taking, which means that I've got too many spacers on. So I'll take the one washer off and keep the slightly bigger one on. Maybe that's the answer. Take this little guy off, put put one back on so that that can support the inside of the dash plastics. Fingers crossed. Here we go again, second time. Thread's still not taking. Let's take this off then and see what happens. Might be that the firewall is thicker than needing any of this. Third time lucky. Let's see it. Go. I think it was all the sound deadening that was in the way. Right, that's stuck. Excellent. One more little job done. Now, to get this lot back where it came from. Once again, fingers crossed somewhat. Right. Just need to figure out which way around to thread this thing. Somewhat frayed. See if these will thread it through. Right, one more try. See if we can reduce the fraying a little bit. Right, I'm going to pause this for a moment and get back. Right, lawnmower is quiet for a moment. I've managed to thread the choke cable through. Shit, that's twice I've knocked that off. I'll put this little guy, who's the most important member of the show, I'll put him over here so I don't lose it, hopefully. And then carry on tightening the first cable. May not be that obvious, but it's an interesting little setup this to try and get this all together. I think that's tight, and then we do the next step, which is getting this little guy back on there again, so that holds the cable in place. But once the choke works, obviously you can shut it off completely as needed. Okay. Oh, screwdriver on the floor. Of course, we haven't got a second set of eyes to see whether all of this works or not, but I will pull it and just see. Let's see if we can see anything here. Not a lot of play. So I'll have to release this a little bit. So why is the thing got it stuck? There we go. That's better. This should all work now. Remove this lot, remove these guys before we forget them. And also, while I'm at it, refit the little breather pipe. Ai, doggy. there, top of the head. Okay, breather is in, spark plug lead back on. There you go, that lot done. Then last job on here, replace all of this, remove this lot, refit, start praying in the meantime that everything fits back as it should and as it was before. I still need an air cleaner cover. This came without one. So if anyone's got an air cleaner cover that looks like it'll fit, I don't want to use a Tupperware bowl at this point, or half a milk bottle. That would be plan B, C, D, E, or F. Now we've got to find the hole in the dark. There we go. This is not correct. Right. That's why it's not correct. Correction. There we go. All right. Let's get that back where it came from. This has taken a whole lot longer than I thought it was going to take, but I guess job's done, the job's done. It's always what it's about. Should we see if we can get this thing started, just for the hell of it? Right. And I'd say that that's a job done. Small job, but it's a step forward. Right, what next? Coffee, I think. Coffee and a couple of ginger biscuits. See you in a bit.